slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Supplies, as I did the housekeeping work also. I used the common room's bathroom, showering quickly. I looked at myself in the mirror. My parents had named me Chastity, but everyone in the pack called me Charity. This was started by the triplets as a joke because they said it so often. Even decent pack members thought it was my real name. I was so shy and scared as a child that I never bothered to correct them, so it had stuck. I detangled my waist-length dark blonde curls and put them up in a huge bun. Whenever I left them down, the triplets would pull my hair ever since we were little. They had not grown out of this habit even in adulthood. I sighed. There were dark circles forming under my large brown eyes. My light brown skin looked sallow. I had been overworking myself, or rather, the Thorne family had been overworking me. They used to have a maid and a cook with me as the sole assistant of both, but they had fired them last month after numerous conflicts between them and the spoiled triplets. For the past month, I had been drowning in work while attending my final year of high school. I had 7 more months of high school before I could leave this place. That was the deal. At 18 and after high school, I got my freedom, and whatever I had paid off by then would be the end of it. The current Alpha and Luna seemed to think they were being extremely generous. The pack house had a really good heating system, so despite the fact that outside looked like the frigid tundra, inside was pretty warm. I put on a long-sleeved white baby doll top that covered my behind as I was wearing just black leggings underneath. I started on breakfast. As it was the triplets' birthday week and they would soon be alphas, every day was a feast day. I made waffles, pancakes, bacon, scrambled eggs, and sausages. I put the butter and maple syrup on the table. I made coffee. I quickly drank some sweet milky coffee for some energy and started setting the table. Luna Rani entered the dining room, eyeing me, scrutinizing my handiwork. She was a tall woman with dark brown long straight hair, pale skin, and green eyes. "The table looks nice," she said, a rare compliment. "But have you washed all the wares? Wash them all before you eat." Alpha Romeo sauntered in, kissing his Luna gently. He nodded in approval at the breakfast spread. I smiled feebly at him. I heard heavy footsteps on the stairs, and I took a deep breath. The triplet terrors were coming. They towered over me at 6 feet and 4 inches each, exactly a foot taller than me. They resembled their father with their shoulder-length, thick, shiny black hair, chiseled faces, baby blue eyes, dimples, and chin clefts. As they were alphas, they were all broad-shouldered and muscled, blessed with super speed and super strength, even beyond what was considered extraordinary for a werewolf. They were perfectly identical and perfectly heinous, or at least they were to me. Their deep voices boomed as they shouted excitedly, shoving each other playfully. They would be 21 tomorrow, but they still acted like they were 12. Alex was the eldest and the most serious and severe. He would surely rule with an iron fist and a surly demeanor. Felix, as the middle triplet, loved being the center of attention and was naturally filled with wisecracks, jokes, and quips. Classic middle child. The youngest, Calix, was the charmer, a professional sweet talker and mommy's favorite. He almost treated me like I was human. "Did you make all of this, Charity?" asked Calix, immediately trying to pull my hair out of its bun. I nodded, dodging him, only to bump into Felix, who smirked and slipped my hair tie off. My curls tumbled down all around me. Felix and Calix laughed. "Stop," I implored them, reaching for my only hair tie. Felix held it high above my head. He threw it to Alex, who caught it and put it in his pocket. I tried to lunge towards Alex, but Felix grabbed me. Felix and Alex started shoving me back and forth between them like I was a ball and they were playing catch. I give up, I said while they snickered. Calix said, "All right, cut it out. Let her go wash the wares. Mom wants the place kept as clean as possible so there'll be less to do tomorrow." The elder two relinquished me. I ran into the kitchen. My heart was racing. I started on the dishes. By the time I was done, the family of 5 hungry werewolves, 4 of them from Alpha stock, had devoured literally everything I made except for 1 pancake. The chairs were all empty. I went to get the last pancake, but Felix snatched it up. He had zoomed in out of nowhere, fast as a cheetah and quiet as a mouse. "I haven't eaten anything," I told him, my eyes wide. "Good. You're fat enough as it is," he said, sneering. He ate the pancake in 2 bites. I sighed. I refused to cry. I had not cried in front of them since the first year of torment when I was 9. My 10th birthday marked a very important vow I had made to myself after crying almost every single day at age 9. The vow was that I would never let the triplets make me cry ever again. I would be strong. I had kept that vow successfully for 8 years come tomorrow. The comment stung, though. The triplets were widely regarded as the most handsome, eligible bachelors in the pack. They constantly attacked my weight. I was not overweight, but I had a curvy hourglass figure. My waist was slender. I wore about a size 4 in clothes, which was small enough in my opinion, but all the triplets had stick-thin size 0 girlfriends. I had to take the bus to school. I had thrown on a man's black coat over my white top and leggings, another hand-me-down. I managed to find another hair tie, but this was truly the last one. The pack high school was called Winter Moon High after the pack. Our pack colors, and therefore also the school colors, were white, blue, and silver. The whole school was decorated with streamers and balloons in celebration of the new Alphas, the triplets. "You're so lucky, Charity," said Mina Toros, the most popular girl in my senior year. She tossed her long dark hair back and pursed her plump red lips in her locker's inside mirror. She was wearing a pink skirt short enough to qualify as a belt. Thank goodness she had opaque tights on underneath. She usually ignored me except for the occasional pronouncement of how lucky I was. "The things I'd do to those triplets if I lived in that house," Mina said, licking her lips. "You'd have to drop out," squealed her best friend, the second most popular girl, Tina Gregory. "You'd get pregnant the first month there." Tina had flawless dark brown skin with curly hair. She was tall and wife-like, and also wore a pink skirt short enough to be a belt with opaque tights. Mina and Tina usually matched as though they were twins. Mina cackled at Tina's joke. "You know, Charity," said Mina suddenly, "you're not totally hideous." "Gee, thanks." "Okay," I said, clutching my books. The girls were blocking my locker, which was sandwiched between their two lockers. Lucky me indeed. "Yeah," agreed Tina. "Your hair is actually pretty. You're like a biracial Goldilocks." I smiled. That sounded like a real compliment. "Thanks, Tina," I said. "Oh, and those triplets are the three bears," shrieked Mina. "If I were their Goldilocks, I'd make sure everything was just right. Get it?" "Or too big," said Tina, giggling. "That means one of the triplets has to be too small," I said softly. Being werewolves, Mina and Tina heard me and they burst out laughing. Wow, I was actually getting along with them for 5 minutes. "That was a good one, Charity. Surprising," said Tina, looking at me like she was now seeing me for the first time. "Yeah," said Mina, giving me the same strange appraising look. "You know, if you had the money, imagine how cute you could look." I fidgeted uncomfortably, suddenly hyper-aware of the patches in my clothes. Mina and Tina strutted off, and I hurriedly opened my locker and got out my math book. Mr. Johnson, who coached football and taught math, looked like he should be an alpha, too. He was huge and really attractive for a teacher. He was married, though, to his mate, the art teacher, Miss Johnson. He handed out our graded tests while Tina and Mina made flirty faces at him. Those flirty faces were not doing them any good. I noticed they got an F and an F- respectively. I did not know F- existed before today. He smiled at me and winked. My heart skipped a beat. A+ as usual, math champ, he boomed. Mr. Johnson was one of the few people in my life who was nice to me. "Mina and Tina, see me after class," Mr. Johnson said. After class, Ashton Peters, a tall buff redhead who played football and was well-liked in the pack, pretended to knock into my desk. The stack of papers on my desk went flying all over the room. Mr. Johnson spotted it. "Stay and help her pick those up, Ashton, my boy," boomed Mr. Johnson. "Aw, Coach, I'll be late for football practice," he whined. "And we'll be late for cheerleading practice," said Mina and Tina in unison, pouting. "I'm the coach, Ashton. Go ahead and be late." "I'll explain to your cheerleading coach, okay, girls?" said Mr. Johnson. Ashton grumbled. He glared at me as if this were my fault. He started picking up papers at werewolf speed, which caused the ones I was picking up to fly around due to the displaced wind. I eavesdropped on the meeting with Mina and Tina. "Mina, Tina, I'm giving you a homework assignment to make up those grades. If you don't ace it, there won't be any cheerleading," he said. The girls gasped. He handed them a stack of papers each and told them they could work on it together and that he set the questions himself so that they would not find the answers online. I snatched up the last few papers from the floor and took the stack Ashton was handing me without looking at me. "Thanks," I said softly to him. He glanced down at me, surprised by my thanks. He looked a little guilty all of a sudden. Mr. Johnson left the room, leaving Mina and Tina looking dejected. Ashton grabbed the hair tie from my hair just like Calix had this morning. My curls came tumbling down again. I shrieked. I was so fed up. Ashton laughed and ran away to football practice. There went my last hair tie, and my birthday was tomorrow. Aren't you going to cheerleading? I asked the girls, actually feeling sorry for them as they had been sort of nice earlier. No, said Mina. What's the use? We'll never ace this homework, so we'll fail the class and be banned from the squad anyway, explained Tina. I walked up to them and looked at the homework assignment. I snorted. I could get 100% in this in my sleep. I was suddenly struck by an idea. Remember how you girls said I had potential? I said, looking at them. They shrugged. I'll do the assignment, and you copy it over in your handwriting and ace it, okay? I offered. The girls squealed. They jumped up, hugging each other and me. Wait, said Mina, raising her eyebrows. What's the catch? Asked Tina, narrowing her eyes. I'm turning 18 tomorrow too, I said. They gasped. You have the same birthday as the triplets? Mina asked. Wait, that means everyone ignores your birthday like every single year? Said Tina. It was my turn to shrug. And they will this year too, but I at least want to feel special. I'm gonna shift for the first time at midnight, and who knows? I might see my mate at the big party. Not that I care, I rambled. You want to look hot, is that it? Mina said, smirking. Yeah, you want us to make you over? Tina asked, smiling. I nodded. Chapter 2. Makeover. I was supposed to go home immediately after school to help with the preparations for the huge birthday party tomorrow night for the triplets. But I had to do the assignment for the girls, and they had to make me over. I knew I would pay for it later, but whatever. The Thorns had hired a party planner. They should be okay for a few hours without their werewolf Cinderella. I did the assignment for the girls literally in the car on the way to the mall. It was that easy. Math was my thing. I was a nerd in general, and I was proud of this, even though werewolves prized brawn and beauty over brains any day. The girls were impressed. They quickly copied it over, sitting in the freezing car parking lot with the heater turned up. Mina drove a sports car. I didn't know what kind, but I knew that Mina and Tina were almost as rich as the Alpha and his family. They dragged me into the mall, squealing excitedly as though I was doing them a favor, even when it came to the makeover. I reminded them I had no money. They rolled their eyes and ignored me. I guessed I could consider the stuff they bought as part of the deal. I tried on outfit after outfit. Mina and Tina rated each one and seemed to have a blast. This was actually kind of fun. They encouraged me to pick out a lot of miniskirts and mini dresses. They said I had great legs, even though the triplets called me fat. Honestly, the clothes they picked for me did look great. I had some trouble walking in heels, but the girls made me practice in the store like it was a runway. They pretended to be on the catwalk too. They were so confident. I had to marvel at them. Next, they showed me what makeup to wear and how to style my hair at Tina's house. They did a test run. I looked in Tina's floor-length mirror and my jaw dropped. I had on high-heeled black ankle boots with a mini pleated black skirt. I was wearing black stockings as it was cold out, even for a werewolf. My long-sleeved white top had a sweetheart neckline that was really flattering. My hair was so shiny and loose bouncy curls down my back. My skin glowed and I had cat eyeliner and red lips that surprisingly suited me. I hugged Mina and Tina. Did I just make two friends? They drove me back to the pack house, hoping to catch a glimpse of the triplets, but they weren't home yet. Thank goodness. I started helping the party planner sort out all the decorations and the food. It was tomorrow night, but there was a lot to do. I did my own homework in between all of this. I was a master multitasker. I heard 3 cars parking. It was the triplets. Alpha and Luna were out shopping for even more gifts, despite the fact that I already wrapped like a dozen gifts. The party planner was a bleach blonde in her 30s who was obsessed with the hunkiness of the triplets. She seemed to dislike me even though I was the only one helping her. She had been over every day this week and always tried to make me look bad in front of the triplets. I wanted to tell her that they already hated me so she could relax. Her name was Rhonda something. I kept forgetting her last name. The triplets walked in. They each had their arm around a girl. They had a different girlfriend every 2 months or so. It didn't make sense learning the girls' names. Also, the triplets were anxious to find their real mate. They were not sure if they had 3 separate mates or just one mate to share. It sounds crazy, but when it came to identical multiples like twins and triplets, they usually shared a single mate since they had been one egg and one sperm that split to form multiples. So theoretically, identical twins and triplets were naturally occurring clones. Every girl wished she was their mate. That was so crazy to me. The triplets were handsome, but they were awful, and 3 mates sounded so complicated. Rhonda glared at their girlfriends, jealousy evident in her beady eyes. The girls did not stay long, and when they left, Rhonda told the triplets I had showed up really late to help her. I sighed. I had been under the table literally as I wrapped tiny presents for door prizes. All the pack members got to pick a mystery present from a huge box tomorrow. I crawled out from under the table to make myself known before they had to look for me. Hiding from them would just set them off. The triplets stared at me, their eyes wide. They looked at each other. I remembered my makeover. I did not think they would notice or even care. Alex licked his lips, trailing his eyes from my head to my toes. I took a step back. Felix looked flabbergasted and Calix smirked at me. "Leave it to us, Rhonda," said Felix, recovering his usual haughty sneer. "We'll punish her." Rhonda smiled maliciously at me. She was the most immature adult I had ever met, including the triplets, and that was saying something. The triplets had me backed against the kitchen island. "I'm sorry," I said. "I had to do some extra math for Mr. Johnson." It wasn't a complete lie. The triplets knew Mr. Johnson because they were his football stars back when they went to high school. They also knew I had won math competitions before. They had really enjoyed making fun of me then. "Okay," said Felix simply. He took a step towards me. "What's all of this?" He gestured to my outfit, makeup, and hair. "My 18th birthday is tomorrow, too? I'm just trying out how I want to look," I said, looking down, waiting for them to insult me or call me fat. "Do you have a boyfriend? Is that it?" asked Alex, anger rising in his voice. Why did he even care? "I'm too fat to get a boyfriend, remember?" I said, repeating one of their classic insults. "Don't play games with us," said Felix softly. "Is all of this for your mate? Have you figured out who he is?" "No," I said. They were acting so strange, like I had done something underhanded. "You'll only know for sure tomorrow. Your inner wolf will tell you who your mate is," said Calix. "I don't want a mate," I said honestly. I had never had a guy be nice to me and I could not picture it happening. "Why the hell not?" Alex asked, like I was crazy for saying that. The triplets were eager to find their real mate. They talked about it every birthday. They would visit other packs hoping to get a whiff of their mate. They thought maybe their mate was younger than them. That would explain why they could not pick up her scent. Only mates who had come of age could be discovered. "Because he'd be mean to me and call me names, and I get enough of that from you," I snapped. I should not have snapped. I was a little frightened now. The triplets had not hit me since we were little. The last fight happened when I was 11 and they were 14. I had punched Calix, breaking his nose for calling me fat and nasty with dead parents. My parents' whereabouts had never been confirmed, and I always liked to think they were alive. After he had let out a blood-curdling scream and told his elder brothers about his nose, Alex slapped me and then Felix slapped me. Calix had been reluctant, but they made him hit me. They dragged me out to the frozen river behind the pack house. There was a hole in it for fishing. I was small enough to dip in the hole. They had held me under the water until I blacked out. Their parents had been furious. I went to the hospital for hypothermia. I never knew what their punishment had been, but after that, we never got physical with each other. Nothing more than a shove. Are you stupid? Asked Alex. I shrugged. No werewolf would insult his own mate or be mean to her, said Felix, rolling his eyes. Don't you know anything? Added Calix. Okay, thanks. I get it now, I said simply. You dressed up for us, didn't you? Said Felix, smirking and rubbing his chin. The other two grinned. My heart leapt a little at the sight of their dimples. I shook my head. What was wrong with me? The triplets were monsters, and good looks did not absolve them of that. Don't make her admit it, said Calix. She's embarrassed, Felix. Admit it. You did this for us, Felix exclaimed, grinning wickedly. He kept coming closer, and my back was pressed against the kitchen island now. Alex was quiet, smiling faintly and watching me closely. I just wanted them to go away. I was so frustrated with my whole life. There would not be a single present for me tomorrow. No one had counseled me about my shift at midnight, and I was scared. I knew it would be painful, and I did not need this from these 3 privileged assholes who did not deserve the title of alpha. They were physically alphas, but they had no integrity. They could not lead this pack. What a joke. I decided to play along. Yeah, okay, I said softly, looking down to feign embarrassment and hugging myself tightly. I dressed up for you. I asked 2 girls at school to help me. I really did have a math thing, but I went to get dolled up after, so that made me late as well. I'm sorry. I hid my face in my hands, stifling my laughter. They seemed to think I was crying. Hey, you know we aren't the stupid little boys we used to be when we would fight with you, said Alex gently. We're taking over this pack tomorrow, and as you're part of this pack, we just want to know what's going on with you, that's all. Huh? Don't cry, stupid, said Felix exasperatedly. Don't insult her when you're trying to cheer her up, stupid, said Calix, turning on Felix. Chastity, said Calix, using my real name for the first time in 9 years. I dropped my hands. I was shocked. I just stared at him. You look pretty, okay? Said Calix, winking. My heart skipped a beat. He was bending down. His face was really close to me. Thanks for dressing up for us. I hope you wear an even shorter skirt tomorrow, he said, softly smirking. I rolled my eyes. Alex and Felix burst into laughter. I tried to brush past them, but Felix grabbed my arms and put me back against the island again. My breath hitched in my throat. Did I say you could leave? He asked, his nose brushing against my nose as he bent down towards me. I squirmed in his arms. You need to have respect for your alphas, Charity, Alex said, using my awful nickname. The spell that Calix had cast on me was broken. Damn it, I screamed. Let me go. 3 alpha males against 1 omega female is insane. You have no honor, I cried, struggling against Felix. He released me. We were just playing with you, Charity, said Felix. Good grief, go, run upstairs. I ran upstairs into my room. I locked the door. I sat on my cot, hugging my knees to my chest. The Alpha and Luna came knocking on my door when darkness fell. I went out to them. We almost forgot you have your first shift at midnight, same birthday as the triplets, said Alpha Romeo, rubbing the back of his neck. I smiled. Were they going to counsel me or give me a gift? Yeah. So make sure and be out of the house at least by 11:45 p.m. so you don't break anything or make any mess when you shift, said Luna Ronnie. I nodded. I suppose that was one piece of advice. I left the house at 11:30 wearing my old clothes. I crunched through the snow. It was pitch black. I sighed. I was nervous. I was scared of the pain. I wish my parents could be here. For the first 9 years of my life, they had been in and out of rehabs. They were inconsistent, but they actually seemed to love me a lot. They would always make my birthdays and holidays special, no matter how high they were. They were deeply in love with each other as mates, and back then, I almost looked forward to having a mate of my own. It was almost midnight. I did not want to rip my clothes, so I removed them and stood in the snow, naked and barefoot, my curls covering me to my waist. If I had not been a werewolf, I would have frozen to death. Midnight came, and I felt my bones breaking. He shivered. That scent was driving him crazy. He could not sleep. It was all over everything. He felt as if he recognized the smell, but he could not say exactly who it was. Surely he would have noticed and remembered someone who smelled this good. He could not take it anymore when the sun came up. He banged on his brother's doors. They greeted him, still half asleep. "What's wrong, little bro?" asked Alex, concern evident on his face. "It better be good. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. We partied last night and we're partying tonight," said Felix, doing a little dance and yawning. "Smell my room," said Calix. His brothers laughed. He walked away from them. They followed him. "Enough," said Felix, storming into Calix's room. Felix stopped in his tracks. Alex entered and his eyes widened. "Oh my God," said Felix. "What is that?" The alpha started sniffing about his brother's room. "Little bro, who was in your room?" asked Alex sharply. "You've been with our mate," said Felix, growling. "You're keeping her all to yourself." "No, I don't know whose scent it is, and it's driving me crazy," said Calix with tired eyes. "Our mate's been in this room," said Felix gleefully. "She found us. Oh, I can't wait to get on her," Felix growled again. "What about Sandra, Tanya, and Avery?" asked Calix, mentioning their current girlfriends. "We've only been dating them like a couple weeks. They know they're not our mates, so it was a temporary thing. I'm gonna end it with Tonya over the phone," said Felix dismissively. "Yeah," agreed Alex. "If we can find our mate in time for the party, we don't want the girls showing up and harassing her." "Yeah, they'd be jealous," said Calix. "And there's one of her and 3 of them, so we better tell them before tonight." The brothers were all in agreement, all sitting on Calix's bed. Who would be in my room, Calix wondered. "There's something familiar about the smell," said Alex, smiling. "It kinda smells a little like—" Alex paused, frowning. He got up and ran down the hallway. He stood in front of the door to Chastity's little makeshift room. The same smell hit him. It made him shiver. "Honeysuckle and roses." He sighed. He found her door unlocked and opened it eagerly to reveal an empty room with the cot in the corner made. His face fell. It suddenly dawned on him just how small Chastity's room was compared to the other bedrooms in the house. There were empty guest bedrooms bigger than this room. Why didn't his parents give her one of those? His brothers came up behind him. Felix looked dumbfounded. Calix walked into Chastity's room and lay on her cot, deeply inhaling her scent. "I'm gonna wait for her to come back right here," he said, curling up on her tiny cot. It was comically small for the 6'4" alpha. "I want to go get her right now," said Felix, his eyes worried. "We have a lot of talking to do." "Relax, Felix," said Alex. "Our mate already lives with us, so we're good," said the eldest alpha, grinning. "No, we're not good," said Felix, staring at them. "Our mate is Charity. Charity!" "Don't call her that," snarled Calix, his blue eyes turning black. Sorry, it's a bad habit. Chastity," Felix said. Her real name felt good to say out loud. "What's your problem?" asked Alex. He was looking through Chastity's things, thinking of all the stuff he was going to buy her. She hardly had anything, so she would be easy to surprise. It was her birthday too, after all. "We have to go to the mall as soon as it opens at 10, he told his younger brothers. "It's Chastity's birthday too, and I'm sure Mom and Dad didn't get her anything." "Are you hearing yourself?" asked Felix. "Again, what is your problem?" Alex asked Felix. Calix opened his eyes to glare at Felix. "Chastity is our mate. We had no idea because she was not of age until today," Felix said, waving his arms around like a madman. Calix and Alex were not following. We've treated Chastity bad. When she realizes she's our mate, she's going to reject us, said Felix. Calix shot up into a sitting position. No, she's not, the youngest said. No, she can't. We've been waiting 3 years for our mate. Chastity said she didn't want a mate. Remember? Said Felix, spelling it out for them. Yeah, said Alex. But when the mate bond actually hits her, she'll be putty in our hands. Calix beamed, grinning at Alex. Yep, Calix agreed. Felix rolled his eyes. Do you remember why Chastity did not want a mate? She says because he'd be mean to her like we were. Her mate is literally us. Calix and Alex were starting to look worried. She's going to freak out, said Felix. She's going to try to leave. Remember, she's been talking about turning 18, finishing high school, and leaving. Alex smirked. She has 7 more months of high school. It's November. We have until June or July with her to convince her otherwise. Felix calmed down a little, thinking it over. Calix grinned wickedly, his dimples showing, mischief in his baby blue eyes. Chastity might hate us now, but by next summer, we'll be making her submit. His elder brothers burst into laughter. Chapter 4. Dangerously Cute. Chastity's POV. I had to wake up at the crack of dawn as usual on the day of the party, despite going to bed after midnight. I was so tired. I passed far away from the triplets' rooms as I could, so I would not have to smell those delicious scents. I had to keep away from them. I could not bear to look them in the eyes if just their smell was driving me wild now that I was 18. How could fate be so cruel? I wondered if they would be horrible mates. I would not let it reach to that. I had never even had one boyfriend. Now I had 3 mates. What would I be expected to do? How would I handle that? I felt overwhelmed just thinking about it. There was a heat in the lower part of my tummy when I thought about all 3 of them and me. I would not even know who was doing what to me. I bit my lip. I was getting aroused again. I quickly pushed those thoughts away. Maybe they will reject me outright, I thought. My heart threatened to cleave in 2 or maybe 3 when I thought about that. My inner wolf whimpered. I hushed her soothingly. My wolf kept pushing thoughts of the triplets into my mind as I worked on all the last-minute party details. Felix would be the roughest. Calix would be the gentlest. I was not sure what Alex would be like. He would probably boss me around, telling me to have respect for him as his mate and Luna. A chill crept through me. Luna. The current Luna hated me. She would not want me as her successor. I did not think the current Alpha would care much. Around 5:30 in the morning, Rhonda, the party planner, showed up to help. "Where are the birthday boys?" she said excitedly. I rolled my eyes. My inner wolf growled. She was possessive. I looked at Rhonda's micro miniskirt and tiny tube top. I was surprised she didn't freeze to death on the way here. She was holding 3 identical baby blue gift bags. "They're asleep," I said, frowning. "They usually don't wake up until noon on weekends." "Oh," she said. She looked crestfallen. She put a coat over her tiny outfit, probably to unveil it at noon. Around 6 o'clock, I heard heavy footsteps. It couldn't be. The triplets woke up early? I ran out of the house without thinking. I shifted. Rhonda ran out after me, her eyes wide with shock. I went bounding through the snow. I had ripped my clothes shifting suddenly like that. I needed to clear my head and stay clear of the triplets until I decided what to do. Third person. "This is stupid," said Calix. "I need my mate right now. I want Chastity." He stormed out of her room and down the stairs with his brothers on his heels. He was surprised to find Rhonda in the kitchen. "Where's Chastity?" asked Calix, still sleep-deprived and grumpy. "Hey, sleepyhead, good morning," cooed Rhonda. "Have you seen Chastity, Rhonda?" asked Alex. "I have presents for the birthday boys," she squealed. "Is she here?" Felix asked, getting annoyed. "Who?" asked Rhonda, handing each triplet a gift bag. Thanks, Rhonda, said Alex. Chastity! Where is she? Rhonda frowned. She shifted and went for a run, Rhonda said. Oh, yeah? Said Alex. She can shift now, he said, grinning. He was excited to see her wolf and go running through the snow with her. Okay, said Rhonda, rolling her eyes. Since when do you guys care about charity? Calix snarled. Alex glared at Rhonda. Rhonda was taken aback. It's Chastity, corrected Felix, though he was the one who originally gave her the nickname. Chastity's POV. I had been running for a few hours all around the Packlands. I started to tire out. I knew I would be in pain when I shifted back. My wolf was strong, but my human form was weak. I had never been athletic. I could not shift back without going home. I was stealthy on my way back to the pack house. I saw that one of the triplets' cars was gone. Hopefully they had all gone. I shifted back and snuck in a side door. I crept up the stairs as quickly as I could. I squealed when I reached my room. The door was closed and all 3 scents were incredibly strong. Were they in there? I peeked under the door. I sighed in relief and went in. I put on my clothes. My clothes smelled like Alex. They had all been here. All of them. Recently. Their scents were heavenly. Every single item of clothing and every book smelled like Alex. The bed smelled intensely like Calix. Felix's scent was concentrated near the door. They knew. That's the only thing that would have led them to my room. They enjoyed teasing me, but in the last 9 years, they had never set foot in my room. Not a single time. I went back to the kitchen to find a seething party planner. Rhonda was furious at me for taking off. The triplets' scents were here too. They probably had not noticed her skimpy outfit. I laughed to myself as I worked alongside her. I was incredibly jumpy, expecting the triplets to return at any minute. I dared not ask Rhonda where they had gone. The time passed by quickly. Before I knew it, it was 4 o'clock. The party started at 6 in the evening, and I needed enough time to get ready. I was walking up the stairs when the Luna spotted me. Oh, hey, I'm so sorry, but one of the servers called in sick, so we'll need you to help out with the serving, okay? She asked, though it was not really a question. It was not like I could refuse. I did have one condition, though. That's fine, but I'm not wearing a uniform, I said, laughing. She laughed too, as if she had not even considered it, but I bet she would have made me wear one if I had not brought it up first. Every pack member would be here soon. Thankfully, the pack house was huge with a sprawling living room. The DJ was setting up in there now. All the decorations were hung and the lights were dimmed. I wondered if I would have to watch the triplets dance with their girlfriends. They would obviously be at the party. I sighed. I needed to stop feeling entitled to being with the triplets. They were my mates, but they hated me and I hated them. I showered methodically. My muscles ached. I knew I would pay for that long run. My skin no longer looked sallow, though. It was golden and had a healthy glow. My dark circles were still there, though. My body needed some rest, but I was always working or studying. I sighed. My hair looked shiny. I let it down. Mina and Tina seemed to think my dark blonde curls were my best feature. I put on the outfit they had picked out for me, a black sequin mini dress and high heels. I did my makeup the way they had taught me. I was pleasantly surprised with the result. I spritzed on some perfume and ran down the stairs. People started arriving a bit early. I greeted them and took their coats. Everyone called me Charity, genuinely thinking that that was my name, and it was too late to correct them. I would be leaving this place in a matter of months. My inner wolf growled at me. I sighed. I noticed Sandra, Tonya, and Avery all arrived together, holding hands, looking disgruntled in their mini dresses. Their eyes were red. They approached me to talk for the first time ever. Hey, Charity, said Sandra, tossing her flaming red hair back. Hey, girl, said Tonya. She had long, straight black hair and olive skin. Nice to see you again, Avery said with a smile. She had shoulder-length blonde hair. Hey girls, welcome. Please help yourselves. Feel free, I said awkwardly, motioning toward the refreshment tables. Have you seen the triplets today? Sandra asked, narrowing her green eyes at me. No, I said honestly in the most innocent tone I could muster. Okay, well, here's the thing. Tonya paused, exchanging glances with the other two. They broke up with us, blurted out Avery. The other two glared at her. Well, it's true, she said to them. My heart was pounding. I'm so sorry to hear that, I said stiffly. They said they found their mate, Sandra added tensely. I felt lightheaded. I stumbled backwards a little but caught my balance, leaning against the wall. They brushed us off. They said we'd only been together 6 weeks, Tonya said, folding her arms. That was true. The longest relationships the triplets had were all about 2 months, so the girls were only missing out on 2 more weeks. So, since you live here, we figured you'd know who she is, said Avery. Their mate. I braced myself against the wall. I felt nauseated. The triplets had already ended their relationships. For me? They would have ended them anyway, but I felt awful for the 3 girls. I bit my lip. Did that mean the triplets wanted me? Like, right away? They had wasted no time breaking up with their girlfriends. I didn't answer the girl's question. Please excuse me, girls, I said feebly. I went to the kitchen. What was I going to do when the triplets arrived? Third person. The triplets were late for their own party, after spending so much time bickering at the mall over what to get Chastity. They ended up getting her a whole host of things and getting it wrapped and gift-bagged at the mall. They loaded the stuff out of the car, greeting guests as they entered the pack house. They narrowly avoided a confrontation with their 3 ex-girlfriends. All 3 girls stormed out together, hand in hand. At least they had each other. They showered and got dressed in a matter of minutes. All 3 in matching black blazers, black trousers, and baby blue shirts. She's not in her room, said Calix anxiously. Of course not, said Felix. Mom and Dad are making her help with the party. Okay, before we do anything else, we need to have a serious conversation with Chastity, said Alex, the alpha even among alphas. His younger brothers nodded. Chastity's POV. I stayed hidden in the kitchen until the Luna came in and found me doing nothing. She glared at me and handed me a tray of champagne glasses to serve so the current alpha could make a toast to his sons before he officially handed over the position. My mates would be alphas in a matter of minutes. I passed out the champagne. Everyone smiled. The pack members were in a great mood. I even got a few thank yous and a few compliments on my outfit. I was a really low-ranking member of the pack, but because I served the alpha and his family, everyone knew my name, or at least they knew my cruel nickname. I refilled the tray with more glasses and more champagne. I spotted the party planner in an even skimpier outfit than this morning, if that were possible. I remembered the blue gift bag she had brought. I had not gotten my mates anything, even though I had helped put this party together. I had literally $0 and 0 cents. I hope they understood that. Mina and Tina grinned at me. I hugged them. They actually seemed to like me now. Our hug elicited a few glares and disapproving looks from older pack members nearby. Mina and Tina were the daughters of rich pack members, and some people considered me trash because my parents borrowed a lot of money from the pack funds and pack members. I had been so little then. I felt it was unfair to blame me, but I was the only one around to blame. I pushed those old memories away. Mina and Tina said happy birthday to me. I was so happy, I got a little teary-eyed. They were the only ones who had remembered or said anything. They each handed me a sparkly pink gift bag. I was shocked. They had already bought me clothes as a part of our deal. Girls, thank you. I'm shocked, I said, taking the bags. It's nothing, said Mina. We dropped off our homework assignments during Saturday morning football practice because we were so excited, said Tina. Just like you promised, we aced it. He corrected it right in front of us, added Mina. I grinned. They flipped their hair in unison. They were wearing identical hot pink dresses. The Luna caught me socializing, and I quickly scampered off to get more champagne. I handed a glass to the Luna, who smiled coldly. The Alpha took a glass and nodded at me. I almost dropped my tray when I turned around and saw the triplets. They looked unbelievably handsome. My inner wolf was howling. Their scents were out of this world. They were staring at me. I could not read their expressions. I could not be with them, but I could not be without them. I just hoped they would not reject me right away. It was my birthday too, and I just wanted to enjoy it a little without worrying too much. I offered them the champagne glasses. Alex took the whole tray away from me to his mother's chagrin. He handed the tray to an offended-looking Rhonda. Calix grabbed my hand, causing tingles to shoot through my arm. Felix put his hands on either side of my waist from behind. I felt unexpected heat and bit my lip. Some pack members were regarding us with curiosity. Alex led us up the stairs with Calix pulling me by the hand and Felix gently pushing me forwards as he gripped my waist. They took me to Calix's room and shut the door, locking it. I quickly scurried away from them to the other side of the room, pressing my back against the wall. The spell of seeing my mates for the first time since I had come of age had broken now that we were alone. Don't be scared, Chastity, pleaded Calix, his blue eyes widening with hurt due to me letting go of his hand. He was using my real name. We're not going to hurt you, baby, purred Felix, eyeing me intensely. I was shocked at the pet name. The heat in my body was back. We need to talk, said Alex sternly. Okay, Chastity? At least they were being respectful for once and using my real name, with the exception of Felix, who seemed to think I was already his baby. The brothers sat on Calix's bed on one side of the room. I sat in the chair by his desk with his computer. The chair had wheels. I spun on it a little. I had never been in any of their rooms at all before until early this morning when I inspected Calix's room. The triplets cleaned their own rooms. We had lived together, but emotionally, we were like strangers in a way. I knew the triplets had to have normal personalities outside of bullying me because they were certainly admired by everyone else, and I had seen them be good to others with my own eyes. It stung thinking that they had reserved their venom just for me. What had I done, besides be born unfortunate? Just like that, I broke an 8-year-long promise to myself as the tears streamed down my face without warning. Alex looked despondent. Shh, baby, it's okay, said Felix softly, handing me a tissue. Calix grabbed my hand again and pulled the chair, wheeling it over to them. I was within arm's reach of all three of them now. My heart raced due to fear. My body was really confused when it came to them. I knew they could hear my heartbeat and smell my arousal. As you probably already know, Chastity, Alex said gently, you're our mate. All three of us. Triplets tend to have just one mate because... I know, I said annoyed. I was probably better at science than them. They were always treating me like I was stupid. Normally, they would glare at me for interrupting them and even curse and complain, but they just stared at me intently. Because identical triplets are naturally occurring clones, one fertilized egg that split into 3, so one mate. Exactly, said Alex, smiling. I dried my eyes and blew my nose. You smell so good, baby, said Felix. His eyes were black. He reached out and caressed my knee. I shivered. Easy, Felix, warned Alex, removing his brother's hand from my knee. Alex sighed. We're so sorry, Chastity, murmured Alex. The way we've treated you is disgusting. We won't make any excuses for it. We don't deserve you, but we want you as our mate and Luna. We're willing to spend the rest of our lives making everything up to you." I was shocked. I had always wanted an apology. Now I had one. I wasn't sure if it would suffice. "We're so sorry, Chastity," said Calix. "Please let us love you." I blushed. Calix was always so dramatic. "We're really sorry, baby," said Felix. I was pretty sure I would never hear my horrid nickname or my real name come out of him ever again. I was henceforth baby as far as he was concerned. I giggled at that thought. That was the wrong move because it set Felix's wolf off. "Oh, you're so cute," growled Felix just before he grabbed me. Chapter 5. Happy Birthday. Felix grabbed me before Alex could stop him. He pinned me to the wall, going to mark me. "Stop!" I squealed, but Felix's eyes were black. His wolf was in control. I was completely not ready for this. I was not even sure if I wanted to be with them. In a flash, his brothers pulled him off of me. They pinned him to the other wall. "Calm down," bellowed Alex in his alpha voice, making the whole room shake. Felix took a few deep breaths. His eyes slowly turned blue. His brothers walked him back to the bed, and they all sat down again. "Oh my God," he said, panting. "Chastity." He said my name. "I'm so sorry, baby." We were back to baby again. "It's okay," I said slowly. I laughed half-heartedly. "Actually, that's not the worst thing you've done to me by a long shot. That won't even make the top 10. I laughed at my own feeble joke. The triplets looked horrified and guilty. "So after Felix has gone and ruined the scrap of a chance we had left, what do you say?" said Calix. That actually made me laugh. The brothers all smiled. I had 7 more months until high school was over, and I was still angry as hell with the triplets, but I was no fool. Rejecting them would mean I would have to move out. I had no idea what I wanted. My wolf craved them. She was filling my head with positions that I had not known were possible. I had never even been kissed. If I even decided to be with them, only one of them could be my first kiss. My eyes went instinctively to Calix. He grinned. The other two looked a little jealous, wondering why I was staring at just him all of a sudden. "I don't know what I want," I told them honestly. "That's completely fine," said Calix. "Take your time," said Alex. "All the time you need," added Felix, who had pinned me to a wall a few moments ago to try to mark me as his mate. "Yeah, sure." "Okay, that brings us to the second part of this discussion," said Alex. "Huh?" "Happy birthday, Chastity," said the triplets in unison. I smiled. They pulled a lot of gifts out from under Calix's bed. I squealed, and then I felt guilty. I bit my lip and frowned. "Baby, what's wrong?" asked Felix quickly. I had thought about getting you something, but I really couldn't. I had literally no money, I said apologetically, feeling ashamed. Felix laughed. "Baby, we know you have no money. That's okay." "You never let me forget it," I muttered. Felix frowned. They started prompting me to open my gifts. There were so many. It was so awkward for me. I had not gotten a single gift in 9 years until today. Mina and Nina gave me gifts, and now the triplets had bought the whole mall. I wanted to open all my gifts later in the privacy of my room. I had already put the bags from Mina and Nina in there. "Alex, Felix, Calix," I said. They all reacted to their names. They all looked so gleeful. "I want to open these later, okay? When I'm thinking about stuff," I said. "We wanted to see your face," pleaded Calix. "It's not about what we want," interrupted Alex. I smiled. "I'm just going to put the gifts in my room. Thank you so much," I said. I approached them shyly. We had never hugged before. Felix snatched me up first, just as I expected. He squeezed me tightly, lifting my feet off the ground. I giggled. He let me down. Calix bent down to hug me gently. Alex lifted me by the waist and spun me around like I was a little princess. He put me gently on my feet. I started carrying an armful of gifts to my room. Wait, they all said. You can't stay in that room. It's too small. We will organize the best guest room and turn it into your room, Alex said. This should have made me happy, but it actually made me angry suddenly. So this room isn't good enough for me now, but it was good enough when you didn't give a shit? I snapped. I immediately regretted saying that. I waited for the huge argument to start. They were quiet. If you're not ready for your new room yet, that's okay, but I'm very uncomfortable with you staying there. It's not even a bedroom, and it's a complete disgrace that my parents put you there, said Alex. We did not talk anymore as we moved the gifts to my room and went back down the stairs where everyone was still waiting impatiently for the birthday boys. Boys, said Luna Ronnie, narrowing her eyes. Where have you been? She seemed shocked to see me coming down the stairs with them. Do another lap to see if anyone needs more champagne, she ordered me. Rhonda handed me a fresh tray filled with glasses. The party planner had a smug look on her face. Alex took the tray from me again and put it on the floor this time. Alex, said Ronnie to her eldest son. Let's start the toast, said Alpha Romeo. The pack members cheered. Everyone gathered around the grand staircase, and Alpha Romeo stood a few steps up so that everyone could see him. The triplets pulled me with them to the same step as Alpha Romeo. The Luna, who stood next to her husband, was eyeing me suspiciously. I was pretty sure she was putting 2 and 2 together, or in this case, 1 and 3 together. Alpha Romeo began his speech. It literally started with him meeting his mate, the Luna, their love, their wedding, honeymoon, childless years, having the triplets, their childhood, their teenage years, and now their manhood and ascension to alphas. It made literally no mention of me, despite me being there for the past 9 years since the triplets were 12, but the Alpha and Luna truly viewed me as a servant. So I knew I should not expect to be mentioned. A lot of people kept glancing at me, wondering why I was there in the limelight. I tried to descend the stairs a few times, but Alex kept grabbing my wrist. Felix put his hand absent-mindedly on my behind. I stifled a gasp. He squeezed it and rubbed it gently. I started to cream my clothes. I glared at him and he blew me a kiss, which many people noticed. I present to you Alpha Alex, Alpha Felix, and Alpha Calix Thorn, the Triplet Alphas, boomed former Alpha Romeo using his alpha voice for the last time. The pack members cheered. Their screams were deafening. Many girls shrieked and squealed over the Triplet Alphas. The Alpha triplets went around the room to be congratulated by important pack members. They dragged me with them. No one asked about me, but everyone's eyes darted to me. Finally, the Luna could take it no more. She marched her sons, me, and the former Alpha into the kitchen. The party planner nosily followed us. Since when are you 3 so close with Charity? Asked the Luna. It's Chastity, Mom, said Felix. Sorry, said the Luna. People truly thought my name was Charity, so I never held it against them. She's our mate, said Alex, getting straight to the point. There was utter silence. And you've accepted her as your mate? Said Romeo. I felt a little offended. Of course, said Calix. We want her more than anything. My cheeks burned. And has she accepted? Asked the Luna. There was more silence. I want to finish high school while I think about it, I said. The Luna laughed. She wants to live here for as long as possible before she rejects you the day after she graduates high school and then goes off to search for her parents. Mom, said Calix, the Luna's favorite. She stared at him. Honey, Chastity has not been treated well here, and you know it, said Calix. The Luna sighed. She's our mate, and things around here will reflect that, said Alex firmly. The eavesdropping party planner was looking at me with so much envy, I actually feared for my life a little. "She hates you three, you know," said Rhonda, the party planner. "She thinks you're all arrogant, overrated snobs." I paled. I looked at the triplets, half expecting them to turn on me. Calix had not even been listening to her. He was still pleading with his mother with his eyes. Alex was looking at the big birthday cake, and Felix was still looking at me, smirking. Felix was definitely going to try to sneak into my room tonight. I felt really warm thinking about it. "They're old enough to decide," said Romeo. "Let's cut the cake with Chastity," said Alex. Rhonda wheeled the huge cake out to the guests. Everyone began singing happy birthday and snapping pictures. I knew people wanted me out of the shot. They wanted pictures of the identical Triplet Alphas and birthday boys, but the guys would not let me go. Calix grabbed one wrist and Alex grabbed the other. Felix was standing behind me, squeezing my waist. This was the first time all three of the triplets had their hands on me, and I felt like fainting. I was so overwhelmed. What was I going to do when they all really got their hands on me? I had thought I did not have to worry about that anytime soon, but looking back on it, I should have worried more because all three brothers snuck me into one of their rooms that very night. Chapter 6. Good Night. I had always wanted the Thorne family to give me a proper bedroom, but now that the triplets wanted me to leave my little room, I stubbornly did not want to. Too much was changing too fast. The triplets were really annoyed that I would not stay in any of their rooms or in a guest bedroom. I went to my room and shut my door, locking it. It was after midnight. I had actually used Alex's bathroom to shower because he did not want me using the ground floor one because then I'd have to walk around in my robe to get back to my room, which is what I'd done for the past 9 years. I was exhausted, but I was curious about my gifts. Mina got me a designer sparkly baby pink party dress, and Tina got me a designer sparkly baby blue party dress. I smiled. The triplets had gotten me an iPhone, an iPad, and a MacBook. I was shocked. I knew they liked Apple products a lot, but I had never gotten any technological stuff before. This was my first cell phone at 18. I'd need their help to set it up. They also got me a proper winter coat, a baby blue one. It was so pretty. One of the gifts was a small envelope with a bow on it. It was a credit card with a note from the triplets with the pin, saying it to use to shop for whatever I needed. There was a pair of winter boots, also baby blue. I wondered how they knew my size, but then I remembered Alex's smell on all my clothes and smiled. There was a proper backpack for school. I honestly did not have one and would hold all my books or use a canvas grocery bag. I felt a little teary-eyed thinking about that. I had never really let myself notice all the normal things I did not have. I wiped my eyes hastily in response to a knock on the door. "Felix?" "Come in," I said. "Alex." "You're driving me crazy," he said. "Huh?" He scooped me up and carried me out of the room bridal style. "Thanks for all the gifts. They're really thoughtful and wonderful," I said softly. I kissed his cheek. He grinned. Calix and Felix were standing at the entrance of Alex's room. Alex carried me into the room and put me on the bed. Calix shut the door and Felix locked it. My stomach clenched. "Where's my kiss for the presents?" asked Felix, pointing to his cheek. I jumped up, eager to get away from the bed, and kissed his cheek. He grinned. Calix tapped me on the shoulder. I giggled and he bent down so I could kiss his cheek. "Let's get some rest. I couldn't stand that room that's really just a cleaning supplies cupboard," said Alex to Felix, who snickered. "Hey, it was true, though." "Time for bed," said Calix, moving to turn off the light. I was afraid of the dark and had begged their parents in tears for that nightlight. Calix quickly fetched it from my room. I kept waiting for them to make fun of me for being afraid of the dark, but they were arguing amongst themselves. I'm going on 2 nights no sleep because her scent in my room was driving me crazy, insisted Calix. Okay, so definitely Calix, said Alex. Felix glared at his brothers. You rushed her today in all fairness, Felix, so tomorrow when you're in better control, you'll definitely be one of the two, okay? Tonight it's me and Calix, said Alex. What about what she wants? Felix asked. They looked at me. I'm really tired, I said, not wanting to get in their argument. I was still really confused and a little nervous around them. I wanted to talk about the time they hit me and put me in the ice water, but I couldn't even think about it without getting too upset. I turned on the night light and turned off the bedroom light. I climbed into the middle of the huge bed. It dawned on me what was about to happen. My inner wolf was so excited. The human me was really nervous and unsure. Calix climbed eagerly into bed. Spoon me, he said, and Alex will spoon you. Spoon? I asked. Alex got in on my other side. Felix spoke from the corner next to Alex. Oh, she's so innocent. The brothers all laughed. Can I please show her what spooning is, and then I'll go back to the corner, pleaded Felix. Fine, said Alex and Calix in unison. Instead of coming over to me, Felix's hands reached out and snaked around me, pulling me to him. He pulled my back against his front and curved his body around me, putting his arm over me to snuggle me. It was so comfortable. I immediately started to feel sleepy. That's me spooning you, he told me. Now spoon me. He turned away from me. He was much bigger than me, but I snuggled into his back and put my arm around him. She gets it, now bring her over here, said Calix. I was lifted and placed between Calix and Alex. I was not even sure who lifted me, which made me kind of excited. My inner wolf was howling in delight again. I spooned Calix now that I knew what that was, and Alex held me, his nose near my neck. You smell really good, Alex whispered in my ear. Calix's and Alex's body heat was overwhelming. Being sandwiched between them, I could hardly keep my eyes open. I wanted to hate them. All 3 of them. I wanted to use this opportunity to break their triplet hearts, but my body craved them. I had to fight to not feel happy as Alex whispered to me. He seemed to have a lot he wanted to say to me now that we were lying here in the dark. You're so beautiful, he whispered. I was glad he could not see me blush. I've always thought that, you know. I could not let that one slide. As if, I said, getting annoyed with him again. Yes, I have, he insisted. I've always loved your hair. I've always pulled on the curls. You know that. I considered that part of their bullying. I stole this before I knew you were my mate, said Alex, showing me the hair tie he had put in his pocket the other day. I gasped. They had taken my hair tie because they thought my hair was pretty? Guys were so weird. Good night, Chastity, Alex whispered. Good night, Chastity, said Calix. Good night, baby, said Felix. Good night, guys, I said. Can I kiss you? Alex whispered so softly I almost missed it. Okay, I said. Alex kissed my would-be marking spot. The tingles that shot through me made my whole body feel extra warm, and I drifted off into a deep, peaceful sleep. Chapter 7. Good morning. Everything that happened yesterday felt like a dream. Mina and Tina befriending me, all the presents and the triplets' confessions. I was actually afraid to open my eyes in case I found myself in my cot in the cleaning supply room and the triplets hated me again. However, I felt extremely warm. Too warm to be in a bed alone and too comfortable to be in my cot. I moaned, stretching out. It was only about 5 o'clock in the morning, but that was my usual wake-up time to start making the family's breakfast. I did not want their parents to despise me even more now that I might be interested in their sons. I wondered if I could sneak downstairs and start breakfast. The triplets did not wake up until noon on Sunday, but the parents would be up by 7 o'clock. I tried to extricate myself from Alex and Calix. Alex woke up groaning and pulled me back to him. "What are you doing? Do you have to use the bathroom or something?" he asked groggedly. He looked really cute with ruffled hair. I did not have the heart to lie to him. "This is the time I usually wake up," I said softly. "I have to make you guys breakfast." Calix laughed and yawned. "We wake up at like noon, don't we?" "Yeah, but your parents wake up at 7, I said. "They'll fend for themselves, don't worry," said Alex, tightening his grip on me. Felix stirred. He snatched me from Alex and Calix when their grips slackened. "Hey," Calix protested. Felix draped me across his chest, which was quite comfortable. His hand found my behind again, and he started to squeeze my cheeks. This is what I was afraid of. "What are you doing, Felix?" asked Alex suspiciously. "I'm bonding with my gorgeous mate," said Felix. I remembered Felix eating the last pancake, so I got nothing, and telling me I was fat. I winced at the memory. Felix noticed my strange movement. "Sorry, baby," he asked. "You think I'm gorgeous?" I said. "You are," he said simply. "The other day you called me fat," I said. Felix stiffened. From the silence, I could tell that Calix and Alex were uncomfortable too. "And you took the last pancake. I literally ate nothing that day. I spent the whole day organizing stuff for you guys," I said. The memories flooded back. "Shh, baby, I'm so sorry," whispered Felix, kissing my forehead. "Don't touch me," I screamed. I jumped out of bed. The triplets all sat up. "Felix, you fucker, what did you do? She wasn't scared before," yelled Alex. "Yes, I was!" I screamed so loudly that all the triplets jumped and their parents literally ran into the room. I burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably. I was so confused. The triplets rushed to comfort me. "No!" bellowed their father, still powerful despite making them the new alphas. They sat back down. "What is she doing in here?" he asked quietly. His tone was dangerous. "I can't sleep with her in that cleaning supplies room. I can't stand it," said Alex, taking responsibility. "Then why did you not put her in a guest room?" asked Romeo. Their mother was quiet, letting their father handle this. Said Alex. "Look, Dad, everything was good, wasn't it, Chastity?" asked Calix sweetly. "It's my fault," said Felix, and he sounded truly broken. "I've been pushing her a lot, and I'm sorry. She was literally so happy up until she came over to my side of the bed, which was 5 minutes ago." I felt sad for myself, but now the stupid mate bond was making me want to comfort Felix. "Felix, we're okay, right?" I asked softly, my inner wolf needing reassurance. Since when was I so weak? "Always, baby. I fucking love you, Chastity," he said. His brothers looked shocked. My eyes widened. Did he mean that? It sounded so real. My inner wolf told me he did. I was not expecting Felix to fall the hardest and the fastest. He had been the meanest. Romeo ignored Felix's confession of love for me. "Chastity is very young. She is 18. You boys are still young. You are 21. You have had numerous girlfriends in swift rotation," said Romeo. Major shade from their dad. "As far as I know, Chastity cleans, cooks, and studies, and that's about it. You can't sneak your very inexperienced mate in here at night. There's 3 of you, and you all hated each other a day before yesterday. It's too much for her," said Romeo. Whoa. Did Romeo actually care about me? He definitely loved his boys. Maybe now that they had been fated to me, he had to salvage what remained of my well-being. "We really didn't do any mating stuff, though," Calix said. "Maybe in your eyes, honey," cooed Calix's mom. "But in Chastity's eyes, it may seem different." The triplets were looking crestfallen, and I desperately wanted to comfort them. I was wholeheartedly regretting my scream. I wanted this awkward moment to be over. Let me start on breakfast. It's already late, I said, turning to leave. Felix rushed at werewolf speed, closed the door, and stood in front of it. I know I already fucked up this morning, but while I'm ahead, Felix shrugged. Over my dead body, princess. I stared at him. I am still one of the alphas of this pack, and whether you want to be with me or not, you will never lift a finger in this house again, said Felix, narrowing his eyes. Hire a maid and a cook again. 2 each if it's too much for one person, Felix directed this at his parents. They looked annoyed, but Felix was an alpha. I agree, said Alex, nodding. Same, said Calix, winking at his mom so she would not get too mad. She ruffled Calix's hair and left with Felix opening the door for her. Before today is over, sort out the bedroom situation and decide which guest bedroom will become Chastity's, said their father. He left. All the triplets were once again sitting on the bed with me standing nearby. Baby, I'm sorry for all the times I called you fat, said Felix. I was so shocked, I actually laughed. Alex rolled his eyes. What my idiot brother meant was, you're beautiful. I blushed. I realized Alex had never actually called me fat. I remembered him claiming to have always had a crush on me. I wondered if that were really true. Calix was the only one who had ever complimented me before the mate bond. He would be the easiest to forgive. I went over to Felix and put my arms around him and climbed into his lap. My wolf was screaming at me to do it. I decided to give in. Alex and Calix looked shocked. Felix nuzzled my nose with his. I realized Felix's wolf had been calling to mine. I realized something else. I've never seen any of your wolves, I said. The triplets grinned. They were wide awake now. Chapter 8. Running with Wolves. The alpha triplets stood barefoot in the snow like it was no big deal. I turned away. I was not ready to see them. I caught a glimpse of Felix as though by accident, and even in the freezing cold, it was extremely thick and long. They were identical triplets, so I was worried for myself. They shifted much more quickly than I did. It took them barely 10 seconds to break their bones and grow fur, becoming wolves before my very eyes. They were shiny black wolves reflecting their hair color. They were huge. I hid behind a nearby snow-covered tree. They gave me my privacy. Shifting was still painful for me. It took me about 5 minutes. I trotted out to show them my sandy wolf. They playfully circled me. I was half their size. We ran through the snow. I could tell them apart in wolf forms by their mannerisms. Felix bounded. He had heavy steps. He snarled and growled playfully a lot. Alex was often in the lead and had the most fluid movements. He slowed his pace to run beside me, watching over me carefully, protectively. Calix was extremely playful. He was the first to nip me. He tackled me gently and we rolled around in the snow. Then he ran circles around me, showing me how fast he could go. We must have spent hours playing as our wolves, and we were adults. I wondered why we had never played together as children in our human forms. I ran behind my tree to shift back and dress myself. The boys shifted back and dressed, following me as I walked inside. We need to talk, I told them. They looked mortified. Get used to us having talks, I told them. They were alphas, but I was their future Luna if I decided to be with them. There were 3 of them and only one of me, so I had to learn to be firm with them. I wanted respect. We went to Felix's room, the only room I had not seen yet. He had artwork covering the walls, which was completely not what I was suspecting. Who drew all of these? I asked. I did, said Felix, grinning. Felix? A sensitive artist? What parallel universe had I entered? The drawings and paintings depicted wolves. I recognized the triplets in their wolf forms in many of the drawings. I noticed one with 5 wolves. The other 2 must be their parents. There were random sketches of items and portraits of family members and some of their school friends. Felix did not seem to have any artwork of Tonya or his other ex-girlfriends, which made me relieved. I spotted one picture of a girl. It was a painting. I gasped. It was me, sitting on the porch steps looking out at the snow. All of his artwork was dated. The painting of me was from about a year ago. I looked at Felix, waiting for an explanation. "I told you," he said simply. "I think you're gorgeous." I blushed. "You're giving me anxiety, Chastity. Let's have this talk. Come on," encouraged Calix. We sat on the bed. Felix and Calix were sitting so close to me. I felt really warm. Alex was sitting behind me. I was so lost in all of this, I momentarily forgot what I wanted to talk about. "Talk, Chastity," said Alex in my ear. "Right, so I have a question," I said. The triplets waited for me to ask it. "Why did you hate me so much growing up? And please really think about it and give me a real answer, not something dumb like we were boys, we were stupid. Those aren't good reasons. I've always wondered why we could never be friends," I said, sighing. "Is it just 'cause I'm poor and burdensome in your parents' eyes? Was that it?" The triplets kept silent. Were they trying to make me forget about the talk? "In my case," said Felix, "you frustrated me." "Huh?" "I thought you were a cute little girl when I was a little boy. You came to us after a tragedy, and I didn't get that. You were sullen and cried all the time, and I was also just a little stupid at that age," said Felix. His brothers laughed. "I liked teasing you, but it got out of hand, and the dynamic continued. I didn't know how to fix it. Also, you would be on my mind a lot, and I was angry that I couldn't get you out of my head. It makes sense now that I know you're my mate, but back then, I'd be annoyed every time I saw you. Sometimes, I'd be making out with whoever my girlfriend was at the time." I flinched and Felix kissed my fingertips, my wrist. "And I'd be thinking about you, obsessively. Sometimes—" "Never mind," said Felix. "No, tell me," I insisted, fascinated by his transparency. "Sometimes I'd call a girl Charity by accident," he said, mentioning my nickname. "Sorry for that nickname. That was rude. There's no shame in being poor. I can't believe I acted like that." Felix sighed. "It's so close to my real name, it really stuck. Most pack members think Charity is my name," I said, smiling. Felix frowned. "I'll fix that myself, and soon," said the Alpha. I wondered what he was going to do. I did not want to be reintroduced to the pack as their future Luna. I still needed time to make up my mind. Alex went next. "I always thought you were cute too, but our parents hated your parents. They'd racked up so many debts. You'd always talk about how great your parents were and how mean mine were. I started to think you were ungrateful, but now I realize that if my parents were going to treat you like that, then you might as well have gone to an orphanage. There's really no excuse, Chastity." "I'm sorry," said Alex. Calix took a deep breath. "I just went along with everything. Mom also said you were here to repay a debt, not to be a playmate. There were a lot of things I liked about you, and I should not have picked on you like that. That was totally wrong. I'm so sorry." I sighed. We had to talk about the incident. It was bothering me. "Last night, I was a little afraid being in bed," I admitted. "Because you're a virgin?" said Felix. "Baby, I know." "No, not that. I kept thinking about when Calix insulted me and said my parents were dead and I broke his nose. Then you guys—" I paused, shuddering. This was really hard to talk about. All the triplets stiffened, their faces pale. "Then you each slapped me. Then you put me in the ice fishing hole until I went unconscious. I screamed for my life that day when you were dragging me to that hole. I really thought you were going to kill me. I could have died," I said, holding back tears. The triplets were silent. "You don't ever have to forgive us, but just be ours anyway, said Calix. For what it's worth, we really weren't trying to drown you. We just wanted to scare you. But even before the mate bond, I would feel sick when I would think about that day. That was a heinous act, and I'll never forgive myself, said Felix. If you had drowned, we would have never found our mate and not known why. We would be searching for someone already lost to us. We would deserve that, but you, Chastity, after all you fought for, you deserve the best life imaginable. Please let us give you that life, said Alex. Please, Chastity. We're so sorry, said Calix. I sighed. I could get used to this. They were all looking at me with hungry eyes. Have you ever kissed anyone? Asked Calix suddenly. No, I said, blushing. The triplets exchanged glances. We want to kiss you, Felix said. I bit my lip nervously. I'm not sure if I'm ready yet, I said. That's okay, said Alex. My inner wolf was howling at me to kiss them. Were you guys disappointed when you realized I was your mate? I asked. No, of course not, said Alex. I went inside your room and laid on your bed, said Calix. I remembered Calix's scent on my bed and smiled. I went through your things, said Alex sheepishly. Sorry, it just hit me how little you actually had, so I wanted to see what you needed me to buy you. I nodded. Alex was the practical one. I freaked out because I thought you'd reject us because I knew we'd been horrible to you, mumbled Felix. He wasn't entirely wrong. I had considered leaving. I realized what was up when I came back from my first shift and smelled something amazing, and it was each of your rooms, I explained. The triplets grinned. So I went into Calix's room to investigate. I was too terrified to go into either of the other two rooms in case you guys got pissed. I was least afraid of Calix, I admitted. Calix smiled. Alex and Felix stiffened uncomfortably. Then I was not sure what to do. I tried to avoid you all for as long as possible while I worked out some of my feelings. I thought you guys would reject me, actually, I said. What? Said Felix, laughing. His eyes widened. Never, said Alex. We've been waiting for our mate 3 years since we shifted, said Calix. So how come you always dated random girls, I asked. We're men. We have needs, said Felix simply. His brothers glared at him but did not say anything to the contrary. When I was setting up the party, I thought I'd have to watch you three slow dancing with your girlfriends while I served drinks, I said, chuckling sadly. Their jaws literally dropped. The triplets looked aghast. I giggled at their expressions. Felix's blue eyes darkened a little. I remembered how I had to be careful with my giggles around him and his wolf. He pulled me into him. Tingles shot through me. I want to take you on a date, baby, Felix said, his voice husky. Sure, I said weakly. Chapter 9. Date night. After a late burnt brunch made by the former Alpha and his Luna, I went around the house with Alex to choose my new room. I had cleaned all of these guest rooms and their adjacent bathrooms before. I knew exactly which room I wanted, but not because of the bedroom itself. It had a bathroom with a huge bathtub attached. I had always wanted to soak in that tub. Sometimes I would lie in it and take a nap in the midst of cleaning. I was too afraid to try to use it in case someone realized and I got in trouble. The room was on the ground floor, though, and Alex was disappointed. I want you on our floor, he said, sighing. I want to bathe in that bathtub, I admitted. Alex laughed. He grumbled to himself. Sure, I guess it's temporary. Eventually, all 4 of us will sleep in the same room anyway. We can each keep our separate rooms to work in, Alex mused to himself. Alex seemed so certain that I would stay and become their Luna. I felt guilty. Maybe I had not been clear about how conflicted I was. Felix and Calix were off somewhere. Our date is at 7, Alex informed me with a small smile as he moved stuff to my new room. He did not want me carrying anything and got grumpy every time I tried. So I was lying on my new bed while he arranged my stuff according to my instructions. This was a departure from the norm. Me relaxing, the eldest alpha triplet working. "You need to have respect for your alphas, Charity," Alex said, using my awful nickname. The memory hit me out of nowhere. I sat up so quickly, panting a little. Alex dropped what he was doing and rushed to me. "Chastity, what's wrong?" he said, holding my shoulders and scrutinizing me. "Just a memory," I mumbled without thinking. Alex winced. I felt his guilt as if it were my own. I felt his regret and shame, too. I had to get away from him to breathe a little bit. I had nothing to do now that my day was not filled with the upkeep of the huge pack house. "I'm going for a walk," I said. He looked upset, but he did not try to stop me. I ran out the front door. The wind tossed my curls about, tangling them. It was freezing. The snow was crunchy and deep. It was dark already despite being early in the afternoon. There were not any other houses for miles. It was about a mile walk to the nearest bus stop, but no buses worked here on Sundays. I sighed. I wished I had a car, but I did not even have my license. I looked at the 5 cars parked in the driveway. 1 SUV for each triplet, 1 for the former Alpha, and 1 for his Luna. I knew the triplets would get me a car and teach me to drive if I asked, but we had not discussed finances properly yet. What about all the money my parents owed their parents? I was no longer working off my debt, and the triplets had bought me so many expensive things for my birthday. It seemed like I was incurring more debt. I knew those were gifts, but what if I decided to leave in 7 months? Would they turn on me and want their money back? I was so lost in my thoughts I walked right into Felix. He caught me. He was bundled up in his coat and boots. He was furious. I assumed it was towards me. He scooped me up and ran inside, slamming the door. Calix appeared. "What the fuck was she doing out there like that, Alex?" bellowed Felix, stomping back into my new room with me in his arms to confront Alex. Felix threw me on the bed. I bounced a little. I yelped, not expecting that. "Felix, what the fuck?" yelled Alex, referring to how he had tossed me. "Sorry, baby," said Felix, quickly running his hands all over me, looking for bruises. We both knew there were none. My inner wolf was purring. Felix was her favorite because he was the most in touch with his lupine side. Felix was definitely not my favorite. I scampered away from him, coming to my senses. "What was she doing out there by herself, no coat, no boots, in the snow?" snapped Felix, glaring at Alex. Alex folded his arms. "I thought you were watching her," Felix added. I was not a child. I had been taking care of the family a few days ago. I had more responsibilities than them before they became alphas. "She wanted to go for a walk," Alex said simply. "And you let her go like that?" Felix snarled. Alex sighed. "Yeah," he said softly. She was thinking about some difficult memories and she was a little panicked. I could tell she needed to be away from me, from all of us for a little while," Alex added. I was surprised he had understood me so well. Calix sat on the bed and pulled me to him while his elder brothers talked. He breathed in my scent. He groaned. He started kissing my neck, licking and biting the skin without breaking it. I was trembling, but I was not scared of him. He focused on a spot. I knew he was giving me a hickey on purpose. Tomorrow I had school where there were a lot of unmated males. Females who had found their mates but were not marked properly yet usually had hickeys. It was an unspoken thing, a don't touch sign. I had never seen hickeys on any of the triplets' ex-girlfriends. Alex and Felix stopped their argument, noticing what Calix was doing. The other 2 alphas climbed the bed, their eyes lustful and hungry. I shivered. Calix handed me to Alex, who started peppering my neck with kisses until he found a spot he liked. He sucked on it, relishing the way my skin tasted. Calix was taking my shoes and socks off. The youngest alpha started massaging my feet, soothing me. He could tell I was anxious. Alex gently gave me to Felix, who immediately latched onto my neck. Felix's hands roamed my body. I tried not to get excited, but my inner wolf was going crazy, and Felix could tell. He released me, though, panting. I quickly jumped off the bed, hyper aware that they were looking at the 3 fresh hickeys on my neck with great satisfaction. They got up to leave. "Don't forget date night," Calix reminded me cheerfully on the way out.